Hey everybody, this is PD from Spinner Rack, and we also have
Calvin Ellis ready to rock. Oreo Duncan. Let's get to it.
we got Jupiter's Legacy. They have a trailer out. You're gonna see this from the Mark Miller World deal with Netflix that they had, where they're taking his ideas and they're putting it to film. You know, they've got a bunch of properties. I always like to point out that at one point they had Rob Liefeld, but that somehow fell apart. But we still have Mark Miller. Let's see how this goes. Ready, set, and
Don't you remember the island and what we had to do to earn these powers?
90 years. 90 years. What do we have to show for it?
We made a different show.
What was Dad like when he was younger?
Nothing ever rattled him faster.
The man I knew was never at home when I was a kid. Too busy saving the world.
Brandon, Chloe, everything you do is a reflection on this family. You have to be the ideal.
No one can live up to the ideal. Not even die.
They're not even close to being ready. And I'm doing everything I can to keep this family from falling apart.
Well, it's not working.
It used to be that you protect your country. They call you a hero.
The world is changing. So I guess we're gonna have to change with it.
I don't know whether I can do this anymore. You do the right thing, somebody dies. You do the wrong thing, somebody dies.
So what would you do if you were the one calling the shots?
how do you like those apples?
I like my apples crunchy and red. I'm not too sure about this one.
Yeah, it's it's problem is this probably was in the works well before
A long time. This has been in the works for a
Yeah.
long time.
before the boys, but then it seems like kindler, gentler boys.
I was looking at this, I was like, this is already on TV now with Superman. That Superman and Lois show.
Oh yeah.
This
No,
is-
okay,
you
yeah.
got aspects of the boys, that Superman and Lois show. What was that film that Channing Tatum made with I can't remember the
G.I.
actor's
Joe?
Hmm?
G.I. Joe?
No, it was the fantasy, like the outer space one, the sci-fi one that he made. I can't remember.
Jupiter's Cloud Atlas, or was it?
No, it's like Jupiter Ascending or something.
Jupiter Ascending, yeah, Jupiter Ascending.
Something like that. It has those sort of aspects. And then you got the costuming. It's a shame though, because I'm pretty certain in terms of stories. This may be a bit more substantive than the stuff that I've been seeing. But initially, in terms of trailer and this is where you start to reach, okay, are we getting to the point of superhero saturation? And if we are, is it even in terms of the stories? Because a lot of the good stories that we have, a lot of the good stories that involve superheroes, from the big two, Marvel and DC, they haven't even touched that stuff yet. They're still like, they barely scratch the surface when it comes to it. But the audience can definitely get full or saturated on a whole bunch of this stuff you know, especially this type where it's the superheroes, they're dysfunctional, you know, they're no, I'm sorry, they're not even superheroes, they're more like superhuman. And then we want to critique what it means to be a superhero and have the pressure. And we've seen this before. I mean, and sometimes it's enjoyable, but there's a risk of it becoming very, very commonplace, especially in this. There's not a lot of these are the alternative stories that I would have read here and there. And but my main diet would have been on the superheroics. There's not a lot in terms of main diet on superheroics, where all of this other stuff as tributaries is going to come across as fresh or different or a little bit more engaging, because people are surfeited with these superhero stories that they've been reading for like 10, 15 years. This is a glut of stuff coming down the pike. I mean, sometimes it works with stuff like you got with Umbrella Academy, which is a superhero show in the thinnest of terms. And then you get other things where you look at it and it's just it doesn't click, like just about everything Zack Snyder's done.
Well, for me, I mean, I gave it as glowing a intro as I could, but a lot of the Mark Millar creative thing is kind of more like hey, what if we take this concept and turn it on our heels? Yeah. What if we take the Justice League, but we got to have an Alan Moore aspect, so they're kind of dying out or getting old, so, and they're coming up bruised, so we got
the whole Twilight of the Gods stuff.
Yeah, Twilight of the Gods. But then it's like when you looked at this trailer, and there's a part in there where you're just like, wait a second, did they get their powers like the Power Rangers? Are they giving us a super-powered Justice League Power Rangers where they go up to something and touch it and everybody got powers now?
I would die to see that. It's morphin' time.
So
Superman, Wonder Woman.
But it's like, when you see when you looked at that, what's the name, where they get this thing from this power from some unknown substance, and that's very comic book like, but it's like at the same time it's kind of your approach to it could be a little different and let yourself go a different way, rather than have the Hall of Justice where these guys are like, this is not working. But they have a lot of human stuff, which I guess people can try to connect to. But
too much human stuff.
Like we don't get the, like, we're trying to train them, and at the same time they're not listening. So we gotta, I don't know, it's one of those weird things where you see it and you're just like, this could be, I don't know what this could be, but it's like I would try to concentrate on making the capes look cool rather than have it look like like it's like they go without. There's a reason why you have the trunks on, because you don't noticeably going around there looking like you got to put like a Moon Johns on. It's like
you don't notice it. Yeah, you don't walk around looking like you're about to, you're 2 seconds away from a boner.
Yeah, that's the part that I was about to have a pause moment. That's the part that really they need to watch out for, and say, all right, you know what? We see why these guys wear these, like the circus trunks, that sort of thing, or swimming trunks, that sort of thing.
And yeah, it's design, modesty, and to be quite honest, for Superman, looks great. Not for necessary. Trunks don't necessarily work for every character. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna have an all-white onesie, okay.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking about too. That's
you got the all-white onesie, okay, and then you got to come over here, you're all brolic, and you walk in, you look like you're doing some prison scene, and the camera keeps getting closer. It's like, where's that camera going? Where's the focus? Let's back up from it a little bit. If this had been done, see, because we've already seen this with Hancock. What happens when you give superpowers to somebody who doesn't really need them? Okay? And then we get to explore all that other blah, blah, blah. And then they have the audacity to do it with Superman as well. And they're like, okay, I get it. I get the idea that giving power to somebody can corrupt. I get the idea that human beings have foibles, and we have these issues. But then this thing becomes formulaic that every single person who gets power outside of those classic archetypical heroes is going to screw up somehow.
Yeah.
That they're not going to be able to rise to the challenge. you get the DC heroes, and those are the born heroes. You get Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, he gets that ring, he's off to the races. He's not thinking twice about what he needs to do. He's got the ring, he's on the job, he's taking care of stuff, and he gets better at it. And if he has a misstep, he, solves it in real time, and he goes. The Marvel heroes, those are more the heroes made. Where Spidey goes out and he's having he literally, his first few issues, he goes out and he's doing his thing. He meets a challenge that's more than he can handle. That's what we were seeing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You get into this challenge that's more than you can handle. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to get some good pudding from Aunt May. And then I'm going to think about how I lost. I'll recalibrate, but I'm going to get back out there to go and do the fight. These guys are just trouble. These guys, when you look at these shows, they're the problem. They're the problem. The world would probably be a better place if they never existed, because you have all the problems that you normally have in the world: crime, pollution, natural disasters. And these guys are supposed to come and try to help, to try to stabilize, to make things at the very least stable, if not better. And they come right over there and they're part of the problem. That line, I do the right thing, people die. I do the wrong thing, people, wrong. Okay, you're not a cop. Okay, you're not a cop who can come over. Oh, well, I made a mistake. No, you're supposed to be a superhero. You're supposed to be on a level much, much higher than that. When you're doing the right thing, people live. Okay, when I do the wrong thing, people die. And that's why I focus on being right. That's why I focus on making certain that I can get the job done. Instead, we got to hear this person moaning about, there's so much to handle, and then retire and become a librarian. If that's the case. But they're not showing, there's a part of being human that they seem to want to ignore when they do this. And part of being human, this is the part that we really do enjoy about being human, is the ability to be excellent. Not necessarily at everything, but at some things. When we go and watch, you look at someone like a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a horrible baseball player when he tried out. I barely ever saw him get on the first base. But we weren't concerned about that. We were concerned about the excellence he showed on the basketball court. And that's what we need to see with these characters. They can have a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the background, but as heroes, they're supposed to be excellent. That's what it means. And instead, it's like all the stuff that they can't get right behind the scenes, they bring that with them when they put on the suit and go out, to go try to help people. That's where I'll get lost with a lot of this stuff, because they keep showing it. And how's it any different than The Boys? Okay, or Man of Steel, or anything of the other ones that they do at this point? Had this been done, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, might have been like, oh yeah, definitely looking for it. But right now, I'm looking forward to seeing the next season of Umbrella Academy more than I am to seeing this.
Well, I think ultimately, when you see the young characters, maybe I would have been okay with seeing the group of whoever these young guys, the Asian girl with that mask look cool, but everything that looked with a cape looks bad. So the old lead look bad. The lead heroes that are passing the baton and reflecting, like all the young heroes look okay. It's like, maybe we should just do a story with them and say, we don't need this story of passing the torch and teaching them. Maybe our story is them fucking up. And excuse my French, but and then at the same time, them having these other guys not look like old men in these tired cosplay outfits, or the women look okay, but the guys are that guy is trying to show them with all bruises. Like, how do you fight for a town, get beat up, and then people protest against you? It's not even the Watchmen. At least Watchmen were like, get the hell out of here, And some of the outfits, and like, that's the thing. The thing that I think, which people like the Watchmen, but at the same time, they weren't outfits or looks outside of, even, I don't even know if you want to be Dr. Manhattan or that sort of thing, but it's like, people like the...
Snyder fans would. They would love to be that guy.
People like...
Kill people. You just kill people without a thought. Yeah, I don't care about them anyway.
People like the comedian, but no one wants to put on that gimp mask. It's like, what was that gimp mask about? And
who the hell wants to be that character?
So it's like, people like him, and he's the most fleshed out character in the story, but it's like, they didn't create characters that people necessarily would want to be. like say people looking at the Super Friends and saying, oh, I like Superman. I mean, I'm talking maybe not even the cartoon, but in the comic you got to see all of the all of the characters, and even joined by was it Ramona, was it Bradham? She kind of like did it even cool when she
Ramona Fradon? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, when she would do other characters, I'd be like, oh, sweat Aquaman in this thing. I used to really like that book. That's sort of back then. So I like either I stopped. At some point I started looking for it again after it was canceled. I was like, wait a second, I used to read this book. I used to like this book. So
She's still drawing, right?
that's the great part, that she's still a style, still out there.
Yeah,
And
she does
the fact-
commissions. I'm sorry, this is a quick second. She does commissions. So if you just do a quick Google search, you can send some stuff off to her. I would highly recommend it. Get yourself some personalized art.
yes,
She's not getting any younger, and she's one of those legendary types. Everybody wants when they're gone.
yeah. So it's on. I'm not thinking this is going to be an old guard, but it might be a success. We'll see what happens.
I didn't like Old Guard that much. We'll see.
Spin a rack.
Out.
Out.